Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, May the 10th, 2019. Welcome to another eBay video. Today we're going to be discussing eBay Concierge, a little bit about PayPal. We're going to see an actual glitch involving page views. We're going to talk about cancellations, slower than normal sales, and a very funny story about an estate sale that I think you guys will enjoy. So actually we have quite a bit more than usual to discuss today. Before I get into discussing anything, I want to open the video like I've opened up every one for the last 3 or 4 straight months. Look up. It's cloudy, nasty, and cold once again. May 10th, and I'm out here in a heavy coat. It has rained almost every single day this week with the exception of Wednesday. I don't think we had a drop of rain on Wednesday, but every other day it has rained and there is still no end in sight. It's going to be cloudy and rainy every day till at least Monday. Guys, I'm the only person you know that has no degree in meteorology that can actually accurately predict his weather. I predict next week when I'm out here it's going to be cloudy and rainy. Let's get started with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. On a bad seller, Greenlight wrote, I would like your opinion on item descriptions. I have noticed some listings that say see photo for item condition. There is no printed description of the condition. I do not see this as a valid indication of the item description. As an example, I purchased a collectible die-cast car that came with a smudge on the roof. There was no mention of this in the listing. When I contacted the seller, he said, didn't you look at the photo? I did, but the smudge was not noticeable. Lucky for me, he refunded my money, told me to keep the car, and told me never to attempt to buy from him again. I also sell on eBay. I list any defect in the description, and I also add my listing title to read description. Your opinion would be greatly appreciated. P.S. On Sunday, May 5th at 11 a.m., I added promoted listings at 1% to all my listings. By 4 p.m. the same day, I sold 4 items. Thanks for the great advice, Mike. Well, Mike, yes, I have seen sellers that do exactly what you just described. I do not condone it, and I do not think they should do that. They should accurately describe all deficiencies in their listing to make it clear for buyers, even though we all know most buyers don't read anyway. On returns, Alan Chu wrote, get this, I sold an iPad for parts and clearly stated no returns, and the buyer still wants to make a return. I hesitated but accepted it. Buyer forces me to pay for his return label because he said not as described. Clearly not the case. When I received the item, the motherboard was altered than what I sent him. Fraudulent buyer. I had to call eBay and reported the buyer. Luckily, eBay opened the case and I got my money. However, the buyer also got his. I'm guessing that eBay didn't want to offend the fraudulent buyer. This is a growing trend about selling things in the for parts and not working category. I really think that category should be an as-is, no returns category. The only problem I could possibly see there is if a person sold, let's say in this case, the iPad, and you bought an iPad and he sent you something other than an iPad. In that case, then there could be a problem. But something I really think needs to be looked at in the for parts and not working category. Get a Job wrote about PayPal. PayPal no longer refunds cancellation money fees. So when one day a person buys my item, then wants to cancel the next, that cost me $4 that PayPal gets to keep of my money for doing nothing. This is not right. If a person buys from you, they need to send back the PayPal fees for the transaction. The computers do all the work, and the maintenance is minimal for PayPal to maintain. I want to mark all items no returns. So now this person is blocked by me. They cost me enough money already for doing nothing. Think about your purchase before you buy from me. Don't cancel, there is no rush. There's plenty of time to think about purchases before deciding to buy from me. Okay, a few points there I want to discuss. I have heard a big uproar in the selling community against PayPal because of this new policy that they have inflicted on us. I've heard a story that I'm currently researching and I'm fact-checking that PayPal is either going to rethink their policy or maybe already has rethought it. He brought up the point about cancellations. I want to stop right now. I want to stop reading the comments and talk a little bit about cancellations. Cancellations this week have been on the rise. I had 3 of them in 1 week. Now, if a guy buys an item at 4 o'clock and cancels at 4:05 p.m., no big deal. I don't care. I haven't printed any labels. I haven't shipped anything. I don't mind that. I don't like it, but I don't mind it. I think eBay, and I've said this for so long, they need to come out with a strong policy about cancellations, giving the buyers a set time limit, let's say 1 hour, to cancel. Now, I had 2 people cancel after long durations. One was 5 hours and one was 8 hours. I want to talk about this briefly. On Sunday morning, a guy purchased something from me at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is highly unusual. Nobody ever buys anything from me on Sunday morning. It just doesn't happen. The last 3 or 4 Sundays I've been stuck in the house with all the consistent rain, so that's how I knew exactly what time the sale came through. Naturally, I did not print the label or act on it in any way, because I always give the person at least 1 hour to cancel. Now, it's important, this is a little side note to this story, that the item the guy canceled on was an item that I sent an offer to a watcher on. So now I have to actually jump to a third subtopic and talk about this before I can backpedal and talk about the other topic. In last week's video, I told you I was going to run an experiment about sending offers to watches. A lot of you guys here, a lot of my subscribers and a lot of people in Facebook love this offer. Of course, most of them don't sell in eBay Motors, but I wanted to give it a try. Over the last week, I sent out about 100 offers to watches in increments of 20 one day, 20 the next day, etc., etc. How many sales do you think I derived out of those 100 offers I sent out? The answer is 2. But wait, we're not done yet. One of them canceled. Now think about this. This buyer was watching my item for many months. It's a taillight from a Chevy station wagon. I've had it listed for many months. I thought it would sell right away because it used to be a hot seller when I worked in the junkyard, and it didn't sell right away. It's been listed for months, and I've been gradually lowering the price, and it still hasn't sold. So this guy's been watching it for months, so I figured he's serious. I sent him an offer for $27 plus 15 shipping. He's the guy that bought it on Sunday morning. I didn't do anything. I waited like 3 or 4 hours. I said, okay, I guess it's safe. I boxed it up, printed the label, put it in the shipping pile. About 8 hours after he made the purchase, he wrote to me and said, cancel this sale. I just went out to my car and I looked, and it's not the right taillight. If you do not cancel the sale, I'm going to return it to you when I get it. Jesus Christ on the cross in Brooklyn. Can you believe this buyer had this in his watch list for many months, then went ahead and bought it, and at no time ever went outside to look to see if it matched? Then after he bought it, he waited 8 hours to even see that it matched. Unbelievable. The point of this story is the send offer to watches feature was a horrible failure for me in eBay Motors, and I will never use it again. However, for you guys in toys, collectibles, and other things, I think it will work for you guys, because people want certain things. I consider toys, collectibles, things like that, those are what I consider enjoyment, and people will spend. And if you have something that they want and they're watching it and you send them that offer, I think there's a good chance that you will succeed. But for eBay Motors, absolutely not. I also had a second cancellation while we're on this topic. Can you believe it? A guy from California buys an item from me at around 9 o'clock my time. Gave him a couple of hours, didn't hear anything, printed the label, boxed it up. I get up the next morning to a cancellation. Actually, it was in the eBay contact system. He wrote to me and said, "Cancel this order. I bought the wrong item." Then, on a hunch, I went and checked, and sure enough, he bought the same item from another seller. Not exactly the same item, but for the same car. So I know that he bought something from somebody else after he saw my item. All right, let's continue on with your comments, questions, and concerns now. On offers, Bradley Reams wrote, "0 results from sending offers after trying it 2 times. Done. Yes to free returns because I basically get 0 returns." Also on offers, Wood and Stuff with Steve French wrote, "I've had pretty good luck with the make offer to watches feature, but I really think it's going to bite us in the butt. I'm worried buyers are going to start realizing what's going on, and rather than buying items, just watch items in hopes of getting a lower offer." I think that's a very good statement and an interesting one, and something that I myself would not have thought about. Also on offers, Vintage Philly PA. "Hello, Joe. Do you know how buyers are receiving our offers from the send offer feature? If eBay is relying on the messaging system, they could be getting missed. I get messages come in from eBay 2 days after it was sent. Also, I don't think buyers use the messaging system the same way sellers do. The new seller protections seem to fit into the fitchy category." So yeah, Clune Trooper wrote on Best Offer, "I do Best Offer on almost everything and have a problem maybe once every 4 months. I sell collectibles and video games, so the people buying from me want the items they're buying, so they almost always pay." And that goes back to what I said earlier. People, I firmly believe, will pay for anything that's related to their personal enjoyment. Anything related to their car, forget about it. Ain't gonna happen, man. St. Paul MN Seller wrote on free returns, "Everyone read Joey's lips. No free returns. Also, I have never and will never offer that feature unless eBay forces everyone to do it. I just do not see it happening." Also on free returns, Anything Uploads wrote, "Joe, I will say this. No free returns, and I watch your videos to the end. Have a great weekend." Blue Llama Pilot eBay Store wrote, "Lead balloons, drop-top submarines, retread condoms, free returns. All are non-starters, and me paying the freight for returns is just not going to happen." 2 more comments on free returns. LawnPro.biz wrote, "I have done over 25 free returns, and I refund 50% every time, and about 80% open a case and want a full refund, and eBay eats the 50% that you don't refund. It covers negative feedback as well. That 50% will cover your shipping and will get your item back. I will not list anything without free returns. It is insurance for you, the seller, as free returns is really not free. It's a way to disguise it as returns. Used to be you could only deduct 20%. Now you can deduct 50%, and you all get negative feedback removed. Joe, it's the only way to go." I disagree with you wholeheartedly, but before I get into that, I'm going to read one more comment on free returns from Helen Gerhardt. "Yes, I offer 60-day and free returns. And to answer your next question, yes, I sell mostly collectibles. I would hesitate to do this in other categories. For example, I will make exceptions for seasonal items like Halloween costumes where I'm not so accommodating. No free returns there." I think, Helen, Basically, you hit the nail on the head there. In certain categories, you can offer free returns and be fairly safe, like toys and collectibles. I don't disagree with her whatsoever. I will never, ever, ever offer them in eBay Motors. How many returns do you think I had this week? 5. All 5 totally honest, legit buyers who bought the wrong size because they screwed up, they didn't check their wheel size, they admitted it, they checked wrong size doesn't fit, and they paid the shipping back to me. I want all of you guys, including you, LawnPro.biz, to think how much money this would have cost me if I was in free returns this week. Just this week alone. I would have had to pay the shipping to the person and back from the person in 5 instances. That is over $100. $100 I just saved by not being in free returns in eBay Motors. And I have no intention of ever offering free returns in eBay Motors. And you can take that to the bank. On a deadbeat buyer, ZXC wrote, I'm seeing an uptick in the number of deadbeat bidders and make offer in collectibles. I think eBay needs to cut the number of days to close out a deadbeat from 6 to 5 days. Luckily, I don't have that problem because I do buy it now with immediate payment required on all my fixed price listings. Here's something on customer service written by Daniel Scales. With the recent update, notice customer service became more friendly for us sellers. 2 cases found in my favor very quickly. On one case, customer sent me his broken unit as a return. When confronted, he, the customer, admitted to it in a message. I told the rep and she did not even have time to read it in our communication with the customer as proof. Immediately found the case in my favor. On the other hand, had 1 negative feedback not removed. Buyer opened to return after about 50 days since he received the item. My return policy is only after 30 days. I declined the return and received a negative feedback soon after. eBay rep refused to remove it, saying customer did not violate anything, so there was no grounds for removal. That's fair. I do not complain, but I thought I would try. Very few sellers offer free returns in eBay Motors selling used OEM parts, especially those of us who sell headlights, grills, and other relatively large items. Shipping is expensive on those. Customers make way too many mistakes these days in purchasing a wrong item. My total return rate is close to 9%. Most of it comes from customers' errors. Back in the day when I sold small and cheap items like emblems, hubcaps, clips, return rate was under 1%. When your average ticket is only about $20, it's one game. But when it's over $120, eBay business becomes a lot more complex, but it's still well worth it. Yes, as an eBay Motors seller, I totally agree. My return rate is close to about 4%, I would say. So yeah, I still say there's a lot of money to be made in eBay Motors. I don't want to scare anybody away from selling on eBay Motors, but I'm saying conversely, be prepared for a lot of returns and a lot of headaches. Mr. Bing 70 wrote, I would like to thank Joe, Crazy New York Driver, for doing the work of keeping sellers on the right track when it comes to eBay. 2 thumbs up, Joe. Futures Past wrote in about the weather. After I started watching your videos, I noticed the weather more now. I mutter to myself constantly, oh crap, it's cloudy and rainy again today. Then I think of you, LOL. Actually, the weather here on Long Island in New York has been sucky really bad lately too. I planted veggies and flowers and every day it seems to be rainy and cloudy. My garden is taking forever to grow right now and my roses are not even blooming yet. Just looked out the window and guess what? It's cloudy and rainy again. In my best Italian, New Yorkese accent, forget about it. Futures Past, you have the same weather as us. So if you look out the weather right now, you're going to see cloudy, nasty weather. Do you know For the first time in my adult life, it is May 10th, and I have not yet mowed my lawn, not once. It's not growing. We're getting plenty and plenty of rain, but we're not getting warm temperatures. You see me, I'm out here in a coat. It's not warm enough for the grass to grow. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Joan wrote, I wish for clouds and rain living here in Arizona. I'd love to trade your weather for a day. Joan, I bet you would trade my weather for one day. But I also bet you wouldn't trade my weather every day, would you? I don't think so, and I don't think any of you guys would, and I don't blame you. Last comment happens to be about weather, written by Charles Foreman, and it's truncated for brevity. Joe, this has to be one of your best informational videos I've ever seen you do. I do hope you get some sunshine soon, as I'm sick of you moaning about the rain, cold, and clouds. Someday soon you'll be going on about it's too hot, and we'll be doing videos in the shade soon. Ha ha. Well, apparently not yet. All right, we have a lot of topics to get into today. Let me stop and take a drink from the Fox News Cup O' Life. This is the Fox News Cup O' Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling! All right, let's start off by talking about sales. For the first time in a long time, my sales have been much slower this week than usual. I've been riding the wave for the last couple of months, but this week my sales are a lot slower. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because a lot of people have been posting in the Facebook groups crying that their sales are a lot slower, and in many cases, some of them have been shut out several days in a row. I haven't been shut out at all, but I have had some slow days. I would like your comments, if you would. Tell me how your sales were this week. Was it a lot slower than usual? Next topic is eBay Concierge. This is news you will not hear on any other YouTube channel. I am the only one that's got this news, and I am the first person to break it. So everybody listen up. I had two people from overseas write to me and tell me that they had received communication from eBay stating that eBay was ceasing the concierge service in their region. And they wrote to me and they asked me, oh, something just sold. Yay! I sold something! Maybe sales are going to start to increase now. But anyway, as I said, two people from overseas wrote to me and told me that they received a message from eBay stating that eBay was going to cease concierge service in their region. And they wrote to me and asked me if I had heard this about the USA concierge, and I have not. So I checked into it. I checked into it with a very, very important person, and not only is concierge not ending here in the USA, but concierge is merging with merchant support. Let me explain what merchant support is. For those of you sellers, I don't know if any of you guys qualify, that are super, super big box sellers, the biggest of the big, the hugest of the huge, who have their own dedicated merchant support manager, a person they can pick up the phone and get a direct dial to. Let's say their merchant manager is John Smith. They don't have to go through calling that 1-866 number. They go right to John Smith. Well, those merchant support people who are the top of the top, the cream of the crop, are now merging with the concierge people. And they're going to be working under the auspices of concierge, which means if you're a current concierge member in the USA and you have to call concierge for something, either you will get your same top-level concierge representative helping you, one of them, or you will get one of these merchant support members. You will never know who you're getting, and they probably will never tell you. It's going to be the luck of the draw. but this is very good news, and you will only hear this right here on the Crazy New York Driver Show. I want everybody to enjoy and bask in this good news. This is super good news if you're a USA Concierge member. Next item is a glitch that I've discovered regarding listing your items. I discovered this many weeks ago, and it didn't seem important at the time, but now it's kind of confounding me, and I want to share it with you. So we're going to go to our first cutaway. I'm going to show you the glitch, and we'll talk about it. Hey guys, I want to show you a listing glitch that I've been noticing for many weeks. I've never spoken about it, nor have I heard anybody else mention this, but I want to show this to you, and I'd like you guys to check this out on your own and see if it's happening to you. So what I'm doing here is I've just prepared a listing, and it's about to go live. I will scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to click List Item. Immediately after I click List Item, in the split second that follows, I'm then going to click on the item, and I want to show you something. So let's do it. Come on, baby, you can do this. You can do this. Come on, man. There we go. Bang. Click on the listing. 12-page views. Impossible. Something is very wrong here. How can this have had 12-page views in the split second when it went live? This has been an ongoing problem, and I'd like you guys, the very next time you list an item, to please do what I just did and let me know how many page views it shows. Let's get back to the video. So yeah guys, you saw me list that item, and immediately when I clicked on it, it showed it had 12 views, which is physically impossible. What I'd like each of you to do, every one of you, the very next time you list something, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, next week, I don't care, immediately please click on your listing and tell me how many page views it says the listing has already had, and give me your comments and opinions on that, please. Now I'm going to do yet another cutaway that has to do with cancellations and relisting. eBay has instituted a new policy, whereas if you sell something and a person wants to cancel and you accept the cancellation, eBay will automatically relist your item. Some people love this, some people hate it. I actually think it's a good thing. It's less work for me, and since I do get these cancellations, it can't hurt. However, there's a glitch with that as well. Let's take a look at that right now. Cancel this item and send a refund. Once your refund goes through, this request will be closed and your items will be relisted. Very important. I will now click Send Refund. Right here, your refund is being processed. Now, in a short amount of time, I expect to receive a notice saying my item has been relisted. After a few minutes passed, I went back to the item in question, and as you can see, the automatic relist has failed. So I had to click here, relist the item, in order to relist it. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, I tried to list those hubs that the guy canceled on. It said the relist failed. I have no idea why it failed. I don't know what to attribute it to. So I had to manually relist that item. Next, I have a very funny story about an estate sale I'd like to share with you guys. Last Saturday, I went to an estate sale up in Connecticut. I don't go to a heck of a lot of estate sales because usually they don't have the auto parts that I'm looking for. However, it so happens I have friends of mine that live up in Connecticut, and they saw an advertisement for this estate sale that it was going to have a lot of hubs. So they sent me the information, and it looked like a very promising thing, and I decided to make the drive up to Connecticut. It was an hour and a half each way. Of course, while I was up there after the estate sale, I went and visited with my friends up there, so I made the day of it last Saturday. But anyway, the estate sale was from 8:30 to 3:30. So I decided, I said, I should really try and get there on the early side, because this is a hit or miss thing. I doubt anybody else is going to be interested in these hubs, but you never know. Also, keep in mind, I might go up there and the guy may want too much money. I like to buy in bulk. I don't want to go up there and buy 5 or 6 pieces. I want to buy the lot. So I know there's no way I'm going to get up there by 8:30 in the morning. That ain't happening. I'm not a morning person. I'll be happy if I can get there at 10 o'clock. So I used my phone. I used the directions on my phone. Took me right up there perfectly with no problem. So there had to be about a good 10 or 12 people already browsing around, looking at the stuff in the garage, in the driveway. The hubs were located in the back. I knew where I had to go because I looked at the pictures ahead of time. So I went charging through, looked at everything. They had a sign up that said hubs, the hubcaps were $8 to $12 each. No way am I paying that. I mean, there was over 100. So I looked at everything, and there was 2 guys running the show. I said to them, how much are you asking if I take the whole bunch? So he says, well, how much do you want to give? How much do you offer? So I hit him with a really low ball number, because that's the way you have to do it. And of course they started saying, oh, no, we can't do that. So they hit me with another number, and we finally agreed on a price. All right? So I said, okay, I'll take them. And I said, but before I pay you, let me go back in the garage. I think there's some other stuff I want to buy. And there was some license plates. There was a Wolf's Head can, an original can of motor oil, Wolf's Head. In fact, you know what? Let me include some pictures right now. So anyway, yeah, I bought that stuff as well. So as I'm looking through the stuff in the garage, get this, this is great. I was texting my friends up in Connecticut to tell them I was already at the garage, at the estate sale, and I'd be heading up to them once I loaded the car. So there was another guy having a problem with his phone. He said he couldn't get reception. And I said, when I was out in the street, I couldn't get reception either. But now that I'm in the garage here, I'm getting reception. A third guy was watching our conversation, and he's giving me this funny look. And he says to me, I know you. And I said, you know me? Where from? He goes, I know you from YouTube. You're the guy that makes the videos on how to sell stuff. And there was about 6 other people that all of a sudden put their heads up, and they all came over. And they said, well, maybe you should give us some pointers. What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do? And I just, my jaw dropped that this person would recognize me, and all these other people came over. I was in shock. And the thing is, I really didn't want to talk too much about my channel at that point, because I still hadn't paid for my items. My goal rather, was to get in, pay for the items, load up, and get going. So I chatted briefly with the people. You know, a very, very basic conversation, nothing too much. And then I went and I paid for everything that I bought, loaded everything into my car, and then I headed up to my friend's house to go visit with them. But I thought you guys would enjoy the fact that Crazy New York Driver was recognized up in Connecticut for my eBay videos. Let's stop. Let's give Crazy New York Driver a hand. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, God, I love it. So, yeah. Next item. Last night, Thursday night, we had our monthly eBay meeting in New York City. Let's take a look now at how that went down. Okay guys, it's Thursday evening. We're at a New York City meetup and we have some special guests today. We have Louise Sanchez right here and Jean standing right off camera, who's about to pop in, have come all the way from Colorado to talk to you guys. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Hi everybody. So we just did the meetup, and what I was talking about is back in December, there was a post on Facebook, I think in Kathy Terrell's group, talking about golden books. And I said to Gene, when we moved from New York to Colorado, didn't we bring some golden books with us? And he said, yeah, he did. So we went searching and we found 2 boxes full. There were over 100 of them that were mine from when I was a kid. So this is like from 1948 to 1952. And they were the 2 boxes of 100, and we started sorting through them, found some that had some value, and there was one in particular that had a puzzle in the back that wasn't undone. It was just still together. But there were none listed on eBay. I checked PickClick, there wasn't any there. So it was a big question, what do I list it for? This is a rare book and in really, really good condition. So I decided to auction for $50, and then it ended up selling for $72. So we've been picturing them and listing them and just taking and doing really, really well with them. So you never know what you're gonna find and what you have stored someplace. Just, you have to be open and flexible and just ready to go. Thank you, Joe.
Glad to have you, and thank you for being on the Crazy New York Driver Show and flying all the way to New York to do it.
Wearing my New York City scarf.
Love it. Wonderful.
Herb's Crafts Gifts on eBay.
There you go.
Thanks.
Gene, anything?
No, not much, because I think she said it all, so that's about it.
Okay, let's go get something to eat.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I apologize for keeping you so long today. This is way, way, way longer than usual, but I told you ahead of time we had a lot of important topics to discuss. So that being said, please leave your comments, questions, and concerns on anything you want, and I will try my best to address them next week. Guys, remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver and you're not. Thanks for watching. I come out here every Friday to make these videos and try and help you be successful on eBay. If you think I'm doing a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm on the right track and I'm appreciated. If you don't think I did a good job today, tell me why in the comments section, and I'll be glad to try and hit up your concern next week. Remember, I'm a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind. I've solved a lot of problems, I'm still making money online, and I've never, ever, ever worn a mask. Some say I'm a world-renowned CEO or even CFO, but it is windy and freaking cold out here. Does anybody want to take a guess what the temperature is right now? Anybody? It is freaking cold. 49 degrees on May 10th. Unbelievable. I wouldn't believe it either if I wasn't out here freezing in a winter coat. And it is raw. Rain's going to be starting shortly, so I got to bring this to a close. Go out there, make a lot of eBay sales, rock on, and peace! Yeah! We're not done yet. One more drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. For the second time today, this is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. And I will couple that with the 3 most important words that you guys need to remember. Just in case anybody's wearing headphones, please take them off now, because I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. Don't be fishy! Yeah!